8 days. 8 days is all it took for me to get a severe form of mold toxicity from a house we rented in Portugal. Fortunately, by now I've gotten like 80% of my energy back, but I still have a pretty elaborate treatment plan ahead of me if I want to get back to where I want to be. Now, we're always very much for natural healing modalities on this channel, but sometimes for some conditions it's just not practical or it would take way too long. And this is where functional and integrated medicine with some of the wondrous repurposed molecules from the Western biomedicine come into play. So in April of 2021, Miriam and I moved to Portugal. We found a nice house by the ocean and literally escaped from there within 8 days of moving in because I was already losing my eyesight. A week after moving into a dream home, Miriam and I are now evacuating. We covered this whole story in another video and we'll link it to here if you wanna go watch it later. But okay, let's start with the symptoms and go chronologically from there. Within a couple of days after moving into a new house, things started feeling off. I was more tired and I also had trouble concentrating. Then around day or 3 I get bloated, like really bloated, and I'm just trying to figure out what the heck did I eat. And after that my sleep just went down the toilet and I started waking up completely exhausted. It seemed like no matter how much or for how long I slept, I just could not recover. Then I started experiencing massive brain fog and I was getting progressively more frustrated since I had trouble concentrating and thinking. Then around day 7 is when I think I couldn't even read my phone from this close up because I was losing my eyesight. So we made a split-second decision and we decided to escape our new home. Fortunately, we're into this whole health optimization and biohacking scene, and after talking to some well-rounded friends, I quickly went on a mold detox protocol. To begin my recovery, I used glutathione and binders, which both helped me to improve greatly already over the course of 2 weeks. But what's interesting is that I'm like a canary in the coal mine when it comes to mold, because Miriam wasn't experiencing any symptoms until 2 weeks later after moving out of the house. Then we found a new place and we were happily living there for about 6 months when things started getting weird again. Well, it turns out that the Portuguese construction methods are very outdated. They don't know anything about hydro-isolation or building houses that actually breathe. So our second freshly renovated home also started developing mold growth inside its walls after just 6 months of moving in due to rising damp. And in this case, the mold was hidden. You can definitely see like paint has been bubbling here. So there's most likely mold there. Very likely there's mold underneath the stairs. So I was exposed to lower levels of mold, but for a longer period, months even. Some of the long-term symptoms that I'm still struggling with are lack of energy and getting winded quickly, difficulty recovering from exercise, and skin issues like eczema on my hands and my nose. And for many people, there could be also other neurological and even immunological symptoms involved. So since I had been trying to heal myself for months with supplements and more holistic approaches, but nothing was really working, I finally sought help from an experienced functional professional. We ran a bunch of labs and found still detectable levels of aspergillus in my body. I've now been on a strict protocol of functional repurposed medicines, and all of my symptoms are improving by the day. But what I also left out earlier is that in 2015 I was actually diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, multiple sclerosis. And working with this professional, from what he's seen in my labs, he suspects that I've already experienced mold toxicity way earlier and for a long period. And he suspects that this is actually related to the onset of my MS. I've never actually accepted any conventional treatments, which in the case for MS are immunosuppressants. I've been completely on my own holistic and lifestyle related healing journey and I haven't had any symptoms for years anyway. But now it seems that by addressing this fungus in my body, I could potentially help heal some of the other mechanisms related to the MS diagnosis. So the biggest takeaway here, I think, should be that if you suspect mold toxicity, yes, you can heal it with lifestyle, supplements and natural medicine, but that's going to be difficult and it's gonna take a lot of time. But before I continue, a quick disclaimer. I am not recommending any or the following drugs to you, as I am not a healthcare professional and I don't pretend to be one online. Instead, I recommend finding a professional, functional doctor who's experienced with mold, someone who knows how to properly interpret labs and works with repurposed drugs like cholestyramine, LDN, and nitazoxanide. There's this distinction when it comes to natural medicine, that there are drugs that are either natural or pharmaceutical. And the ones that I named sound like very hardcore pharmaceutical drugs, but they're functional. And LDN, for example, which is an amazing drug, is different, and it's even considered to be a natural medicine by many natural doctors. And an increasing number of conventional medicine doctors are also getting acquainted with the research behind it and getting into prescribing LDN. So if you're wondering where to find such help, that might be a good place to start. I would say that the main thing if you want to get better is to avoid being exposed to more mold. Keep all your grains in airtight containers. Don't leave open food in the fridge. Avoid conventional coffee, they're mostly all moldy. We have been getting a lot of questions on social media if you have to give up drinking coffee altogether. Well, no, you're in for a treat. We just partnered with Purity Coffee, which has been our favorite coffee for years already, as you can see from this 2.5 pound bag. Purity produces specialty grade, organic and certified mycotoxin, mold and pesticide-free coffee. And you cannot get this quality from anywhere else. This is literally the only thing we drink, and we love this brand. And since we partnered with them, you can get 20% off your first order by using our code HOMESOME20. We're gonna leave the code and the link in the description below, so make sure to check them out. If possible, use an air purifier and a fogger to clean out any spores from your home. Use biocidin drops. Use binders like charcoal, bentonite clay, chlorella and silica, but make sure that they're organic and food grade. And finally, follow the GAPS diet. I'll include more details and all the links to the description below. All of these things help, but they don't completely rid your body of mold, as mold mostly needs long-term antifungal treatment following a strict GAPS dietary plan. I really hope this helps, and if you want to learn more about mold, check out this video next.